Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome if you are new. Thank you for taking time out of your day to check the video out. We have more PlayStation news, rumors, and leaks to go over and cover here today. So do me a favor before we dive into today's topics. If you end up enjoying the video or finding it informative, be sure to leave it a like. It helps the videos out more than you know. And if you are new here to the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button as well. We're starting here with a leak regarding the PlayStation 5 Slim, although I don't think it's actually going to be a slim model of the PS5, but essentially this new PS5 model that is going to feature a detachable disk drive. This is something we've been talking about for quite some time. It seems pretty clear that this is real. We just don't know when exactly Sony is planning to reveal it or announce it. But we do have what seems to be our first leaked image of it. This is being reported by PlayStation Lifestyle. They say an image of what appears to be the rumored new PS5 model with a detachable disk drive has leaked on a popular Chinese gaming forum. While there's currently no confirmation that the photo is real, the console's appearance falls in line with what reliable leakers have said about the model before. The photo in question originally appeared on A9VG. Tweet embedded below shares a bit more information on the leak. Apparently, the console's thickness is roughly the same as the current models, but its height is about 5 centimeters shorter. There are slits on both sides, presumably something to do with the detachment option, and 2 Type-C ports on the front. If this picture is real, the revised model does look a tad slimmer, but we certainly wouldn't classify it as a PS5 Slim. Known insider Tom Henderson, who originally leaked the existence of the detachable disk drive model, said as much before. Henderson disputed claims of a slim model, arguing that his sources have only confirmed the PS5 Pro and a similar sized model with a detachable disk drive. So, yeah, this is something that has leaked out. It looks a little strange, actually. I feel like the top of it in particular, there's kind of like a dip, which just looks weird to me. I'm not sure why they decided to go with that look, but it really almost looks exactly the same as the current model PS5. So if you want to get a good idea of what this new model looks like, just look at the PS5 as it is now. Just imagine 2 lines basically going through the middle of it. And yeah, so it's clear that this is a real thing. And you know, now that we are kind of getting our first image of this console, I just can't help but wonder, like, how Sony plans to announce this, if it really will just be a straight-up blog post, or if they're going to make a bigger deal out of it. I mean, the way it's kind of being treated right now, you know, where people are leaking stuff, and I don't know, it doesn't look that different at all. So I think Sony would be wise to not do anything other than a blog post for this, because it really doesn't seem like it's that big of a change at all. So yeah, for those of you who have seen this picture, let me know your thoughts about it down below, but be on the lookout. It seems like Sony is getting ready to announce this thing any day now. Moving on to the next topic, we have exclusive details leaked about PlayStation's Project Chronos. This is once again coming from reliable insider Tom Henderson. He's reporting on this via his website, Insider Gaming. He says earlier this week, PS5's cloud streaming beta officially rolled out to some PS5 users. And while we were only able to gather that the streaming will support up to 4K, Insider Gaming sources have provided us with information on the streaming architecture. Internally named Project Chronos, this new streaming architecture aims to build a robust PS5 streaming experience that will serve as a major step forward in the company's growth in the ever-growing market. It's understood that the development of Chronos began 5 years ago due to the complexity surrounding the PlayStation 5's SSD. While the SSD is very fast in the PS5, it created a new challenge that made it impossible for Sony to develop the infrastructure needed using current technology on the market in terms of functionality, latency, etc. This meant that Sony, under the Future Technology Group, designed a completely new network storage solution based on PCIe NTB, which leverages NTB and the PS5's I/O coprocessors. The final product is a custom storage server under the codename Cura, which reads up to 5 gigabytes per second with less than 1 millisecond latency. Sources said that Sony will have a total of 28 data centers across 15 metros for the PS5 cloud streaming rollout, with its plans to fully launch this feature in fiscal year 23, which falls between April 2023 and March 2024. So yeah, this is certainly some interesting information we're getting about Sony's cloud, push here. And we did recently talk about how 4K cloud streaming for the PS5 is in testing. It's in beta right now. And the people who are trying it out, they're reporting that it works incredibly well, that it's really difficult to actually distinguish the difference as long as your internet connection is strong. Of course, that should go without saying, but you do need a good internet connection to achieve this. But if you have that good internet connection, it's very difficult to distinguish between playing the native version of a game and the cloud version. And when we go over these details here of Project Chronos, Tom Henderson is basically relaying the details of what Sony did on the back end to, kind of prepare for this launch and this rollout. It seems like they got very serious, right? This is a major upgrade, I would say, to what people have grown used to with PlayStation and cloud streaming. For the longest time, the only cloud streaming you could do with PlayStation was for PS3 games, using these old server racks that are basically PS3s. And it's not that it was bad. I mean, I've tested it out myself. It actually works pretty well, but I think it only goes up to 1080p, and again, it's just for PS3 games. And so the idea that Sony wants to make PS5 games available to stream for like PS Plus premium users, most of these games are going to be running at higher resolutions than 1080p, so them offering 4K is definitely a big step forward. And yeah, it'll be really interesting to see how Sony continues to roll this out and how they talk about it. It's clear that Sony wants to make sure they are prepared for anything that may happen in the future when it comes to the gaming industry. I know that many of us here are very much all about playing natively, on hardware. I don't think that's going to change for any of us, but I don't think there's any denying that, as internet connections get better for people, internet gets faster, right? And Sony wants to continue to try to expand the PlayStation brand. There's no denying that cloud is going to play a role in that, potentially a very significant role. So, Sony is just basically making sure they have, once again, all of their bases covered, and whatever may happen going forward, at the very least, they will know, like, we have, a very good streaming solution for PlayStation 5 games. So let me know your thoughts on that. And yeah, I also, again, because I did notice in my last video, there are some people, some community members here who actually have tested it out. Once again, because we're talking about it, feel free to share your experience with it once again down below. But moving on to the final topic of the video, we are getting some new information on Naughty Dog's new game that was recently announced to be in development. Reporting from Push Square, they say, while it was never really in doubt, Neil Druckmann has confirmed he's writing and directing an unannounced PS5 game. Shuffles within Naughty Dog's executive ranks recently saw The Last of Us creator promoted to co-studio head, but it looks like he's going to retain a highly creative role within the company as he turns his attention to the developer's next project. There's strong speculation that it will be The Last of Us Part 3, but there's also been talk of a new IP being in the pipeline at the California company. Obviously, it's been over 3 years since The Last of Us Part 3 launched, and while the teams remade the original game and a TV show in the interim, it sounds like its long-anticipated standalone multiplayer spinoff has gone back to the drawing board. Exactly how long it's going to take for Naughty Dog to put out something new is still very much up in the air, but with PS5 development cycles increasing, we reckon it's going to take a while for this new title to emerge. But yeah, this is something that is definitely worth pointing out because this is the first time we're getting explicit confirmation from Neil Druckmann himself that he is in fact writing and directing the next Naughty Dog game, this unannounced title. And I've said it before, I will say it again, I think it is highly, highly likely that this game is The Last of Us Part 3. I mean, we look at the way Sony has handled their big franchises, and we also consider the fact that I believe Neil Druckmann confirmed previously that this was actually not too long after the launch of The Last of Us Part 2 that he already had an outline, like the story written basically, for what would be The Last of Us Part 3. I have no doubt that that is what he's working on, that is what he is writing and directing. And, you know, it's obviously going to be divisive for a lot of people. I think a lot of people are going to be very excited, very happy that Neil Druckmann is once again, you know, the main creative force behind this upcoming game. But there are also going to be a lot of people who are not happy and actually might want nothing to do with this game because of that. But nonetheless, we are getting this confirmation from Neil himself. And again, I think it's obvious it's The Last of Us Part 3. But I know that there are going to be people who hold out a lot of hope that it is a new IP. And personally, if I had to choose between the two, I would prefer a new IP. But can't deny I'd be very interested to see like where they go with The Last of Us Part 3. Regardless of how you feel about The Last of Us Part 2, you know, there's really just so many different directions they could decide to go in with 3. I think everybody would be a little bit interested and curious to just kind of see like, all right, so where do you go from here? Maybe not though. I don't know. Maybe some people just really don't want any more Last of Us. It's hard to say. But there you go. That is all the news I have for you guys today. Be sure to leave your thoughts down in the comments below. Leave the video a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Hit the bell notification icon and feel free to share this video out. On top of all that, but until next time, guys, take care.